Hey, you. Welcome back to the channel. The marketing is coming. The marketing is coming. Kind of like the phrase, the red coats are coming, the red coats are coming. Kind of fitting though, right? Mr. Richard Ailes is a Brit, one of our neighbors across the pond. And he is coming our way. I think he's coming everybody's way because Electroneum is going to be huge. So he released an email we've been hearing about, and it discussed one of my favorite areas, and that is marketing the mobile operators. And apparently, since we got this KYC stuff out of the way, we got a plan for October. The gloves are coming off. It's just full going after these partnerships. Some of them already in the works that will be revealed, but due to non-disclosure agreements and various things like that, we're how this information gets released. Is there's rules to it and contracts and all those good things. So I want to talk about trying to understand why we're having such great news and such great things, and there seems to be this type of disconnect a little bit with us and the rest of the cryptocurrency community. And I'm starting to sit back and I'm starting to realize probably why that is, why they're so disconnected, I think, from Electroneum. And I kind of also liken it to time dilation issues. It's kind of like you send messages and it's a delay with some people getting the information, and then they receive it 20 minutes later. Um, and it's also I think there's always been this kind of disconnect between the developers of platforms and the other business components that go into making a coin successful. And so I think all of these elements are part of this. But I also think we're going to start to realize that hybrids, and this is what Electroneum is. Electroneum is a hybrid cryptocurrency, right? It's got its foot in fintech, and then it's got its foot in the blockchain, right? So why this is important, as we're beginning to see and understand, is that when you want to empty over into other markets, when you want to become part of the global economy, which is what cryptocurrency is attempting to do. It being able to integrate into the rest of the global economy. Nobody's going to want to touch you with a 10-foot pole unless there are certain protections, available. Just think about it for a second. If you're a large company, first of all, you're under a lot of government regulation and control. So you're going to have to play by the rules. But in addition to that, you want to make sure you're doing business with people who can sign contracts and people who can hold up their end of the bargain as well as protect their customers. There's just so much stuff that happens on the road to mass adoption that, with all due respect, I think some people who build these platforms, just don't quite understand. Where I'm a little bit confused with some coins is that some of them probably get a lot of venture capital money thrown at them. And I spent about 2 weeks working for a venture capital firm before I decided that I had just got out of working for years at investment firms, and it just dawned on me that I wasn't really ready to get back in that setting. After spending many years at an investment firm, and the venture capital business was even 10 times more difficult than that. And so I just decided that it wasn't for me. But what's a little bit surprising is usually VC firms, when they're dealing with coins, as they've dealt with some coins, they've given some coins some money, they usually wrap up the the divide between who's doing the development and who's the engineers and where the business minds are. They usually are pretty comfortable, you know, and you generally helping to set those things up before they commit their money over. So it looks like I'm just seeing a bunch of tokens who still don't get it. When I look at Electroneum, uh, I'm surprised they don't get offered a lot of money from VC firms. I think they will though, but you know, Electroneum, you know, may not even need to go that route. But Electroneum is set up in just such a perfect way to get things done across the global economy, and they are, from what I can see, the only, realistically speaking, coin that's going to be able to really mass adopt. I think the other tokens are pretty much a pipe dream. I don't think that they're going to really be able to do it. Who's going to trust them? Who's going to commit money to them? Right? Who's going to put their neck on the line for them? We know that the bigger the money gets, the more regulated it gets. You know, so these companies where a lot of bulk of the money is going to come from is going to are going to have to be compliant with the government. So that's why I say realistically at this point, Electroneum is probably going to be the only people who are going to really be able to get this done. Now, what's kind of funny is a lot of people who don't quite understand. They don't understand. They're still looking at the price and going, "Oh, look at this crappy coin," and you got these. Here's how I see like people who, and I got them on my channel too, and we got this guy that we laugh with and make jokes with, and he comes on there. But you know, really at the end of the day, it's not funny. It's actually kind of sad because he really doesn't understand what's going on here, and that's like a lot of people. This disconnect that we're getting is very similar to the same disconnect I get when I'm speaking with developers, right? uh, you know, it's these ideological developers that I run into all the time over the cryptocurrency space, and they say things like, "Oh well, you know what we need to do? We need privacy. We need censorship," and so what they've done is this type of idea of this complete censorship and privacy idea when it comes to moving money. These these three things don't mix well, right? It's hard. It's going to be very difficult to have all of these things work in a perfect harmony because you're also introducing to the same security and privacy things you're trying to allow. You're also allowing money laundering. You're going to also be allowing terrorism, money to be transferred over to terrorism. You're going to be allowing child pornography. You're going to be, it's a lot of stuff, hate speech, Nazis, all kind of stuff. There's a whole lot of stuff, uh, trash that's coming in. So you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? And that's why you need hybrids. You know, that's why Electronics found that perfect balance, and that's why it's gonna win in the end. And this is why you know, a lot of people in the space, I still don't, it hasn't dawned on them yet. They don't see it yet. They don't see what's going on yet. That we do need a hybrid system to make this work. And that's just the reality of it. Some of us can accept that. Some of us won't ever be able to accept that. And, you know, unfortunately, if they don't, you know, I see decades more of the cryptocurrency space in a similar situation to what it's in now. But that's not going to happen with Electroneum. You know, there is no reason that you know, your token needs to depend on Bitcoin, what Bitcoin's doing. If your token has to depend on what's happening with Bitcoin, that's not saying a whole great deal about your token now, is it? If you need the price of Bitcoin to go up in order to for your token to be on anybody's spotlight, I think the company was called Cardano, right? Run by Bob Hoskins. And I remember reading in an article that he was saying, "Oh, we really haven't started marketing yet, but we could start marketing, and we could probably get even more, notoriety and support and what have you. But my question was, you haven't really start marketing it? Like, when do you think is a good time to to start? What's the do a lot of these coins even have a marketing plan? Electroneum showing us that they do. These partnerships are coming out, and these are partnerships with real companies. Now think about this. Electroneum's going after all these big, huge companies, right? And there's no telling how many they're going to get as they get forward. Do you think in the future Electroneum's going to need to depend on the price of Bitcoin, like the story that all these other tokens are telling? That if Bitcoin doesn't goes up or goes down, they got to follow suit with it because they don't have a growth plan. They don't have a model that works and that targets a market that responds to them to the point it's almost like this. They got to be connected to this. This bound to Bitcoin to where it's almost like magically Bitcoin goes up and it just pulls them with them just because. That's not a good situation to be in. You don't want that, right? And so and just imagine if you were in a certain business, and the only way your business could be profitable, the only way your business could be one that was successful was only if another company similar to yours performed well. That wouldn't make any sense, would it? That would be ridiculous to base your company on something like that. So, a lot of people say Bitcoin is king, but Bitcoin is very limited. And that's what I want to talk about too. That decentralization, as much as we hope for it, as much as we love it, and as great of an idea as it sounds like, at the end of the day, decentralization is a very limited thing, right? It's very limited. There's no one at the helm. There's no one that can make deals, sign contracts, any of that. And I know many of us are seeking a world where maybe that won't be necessary and we'll just all agree that this is what we should do and how we should use tokens. But people want protection still. People want to be protected. And decentralization doesn't give you that, right? You lose your wallet, you could lose millions of dollars. And the only thing somebody can tell you is, hey, we sorry for you, but it was your responsibility that you were careless. And, we all make mistakes sometimes. Obviously, people have lost a lot of information, in wallets and bank accounts and financial information and various things like that. But decentralization is going to offer no options for you, no protections. And, that's all part of it. That's what we accept. But now we're learning that we can also accept other ways to do things. And they don't all have to be black and white, following one direction. And so, guys, that's all I want to say is that October is going to look awesome for Electroneum. I think it's only a matter of time before the Electroneum price does start to respond to a lot of what's going on. It is going to take some time because for me, like I've said earlier, is Electroneum's become my new Bitcoin, right? It's my new holding coin for the future. Because there is a disconnect still between in the crypto space with coins like Electroneum. And, by the time I think they really understand what Electroneum is doing, Electroneum is going to already be headed to the moon, right? So, guys, that's all I want to say. Real quick as well, we are having a 2,500 Electroneum giveaway, as we had announced earlier. Tried to get that information on BitTube. Was having a few loading problems at the time, uploading problems. We have got that resolved now. And so we want to remind and update people on that contest will end on September the 27th, about a week from now. And you can win 2,500 Electroneum. We'll leave the link in the description. Guys, you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.